Hello, y'all. This is Darrell Lee Berry Jr. back with another video. I didn't realize in my focus on my studies that I missed the debate recently between Ross and PhD Tony. So you all know that PhD Tony is one of my favorite debaters. And I talked with Ross once. I think he's nice, but the derp is strong. How else can you say it? So it seems like it'll be interesting. So in between my studies, referring to what I was saying earlier, I'll be reviewing parts of it today. So maybe I'll review the opening statements now, and then maybe I'll come back and review the discussion part. The whole thing is about 2.5 hours. This is the screen as I'll be showing it momentarily. So the it's 2.5 hours, not exceptionally long, but I know I won't review the whole thing at once. So like I said, I'll review like the opening, then I'll review another part, and I imagine I'll be able to get through all of it today, since I don't have any classes today because of the holidays. So we'll see how it goes. But you can count on me coming back at least twice more today. So I'll be here now. I'll come back at least once later to do some of the uh, back and forth. And if I don't get through the back and forth, then I'll come back and do some of the super chats at the end. And if I do get through the back and forth, I'll do some of the super chats. Or if I don't get through some of the back and forth, then I'll come back and do some more of the back and forth. So I imagine I'll spend about 30 or 45 minutes um, per view. So I'm sure I won't get through the whole thing today, but we'll see how it goes. So here we go. I'll go ahead and get started. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll be checking my volume. So put in the chat if there's any issues with my volume at all. And but I'll try to not make myself too loud or make the uh, stream too loud or what have you. And but I'll be looking for any feedback on that. So I can turn myself down just a little bit. I see it's going into the red. And I'll go ahead and start this playing and seeing what the volume looks like for that. All right, so it seems to look okay. Might be able to turn it up just a little bit. I think we're about the same volume. I might keep the screen just a little bit lower just in case. Sometimes I don't talk directly into the mic. You notice on the in the live chat, they're starting to say pull it up because that's one of the things that uh, uh, Ross often says. But if you notice, if any of y'all looked at my talk with him, you notice that he doesn't really pull it up himself. Like I pulled up one of the articles he referenced. Apparently, he just like read the title and assumed that it agreed with what he said, and but he couldn't explain it. Couldn't. It was similar to my debate that I had. These people don't understand the papers they read. They don't even understand the fundamental concepts in them. So
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Modern Day Debate. We are due for a juicy one tonight. We have Flat versus Globe, Ross Perry versus PhD Tony. And to get us started with the flat side, Ross, you have 10 minutes on the floor, and thank you so much for coming back to Modern Day Debate. We appreciate you being here.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, if I get too loud, please let me know. You know, I have a tendency to do that.
No worries.
Let me just a quick second to adjust myself and get my. Hold on one second.
I think your audio is.
I can't hear.
Your audio is actually
I'm
coming
sorry.
through, it seems, through maybe your headphone all of a sudden. It was coming through your mic before, so maybe you might want to check your audio settings again in the Zoom
Okay.
chat.
How about now? Is that better?
We can hear you. That's the main thing. So yeah, you got 10 minutes on the floor, and it's all yours, Ross.
All right. All right. Well, I'm gonna. I know I said that I was gonna start the debate, but I'm actually gonna have PhD Tony start the debate. That's all right.
No, you're
share
not.
my
You're going to
screen.
start the debate.
I'm making a joke. Don't get sensitive on me already, Tony. I'm making a joke. All right. It's just I'm joking on you. All right. Just relax for a quick second. I got some pieces of.
It sounds pretty low. That's not what I'm sending, by the way. He just sounds low in the stream. I'm low to turn it up. Everybody else will sound very loud. But we'll see how this goes.
Content I wanted to show.
Yeah, I see that you're doing a screen share there, so I'll pop that up. It's just loading now. So as soon as you're ready to start your presentation, we will get started. And yes, once again, welcome everybody to Modern Day Debate. If you haven't already, hit the like button. We appreciate that. Boost it up in the algorithm and try to get this out to as many people so that we can have a big show tonight. So let's have fun. Ross, 10 minutes is started on the floor.
We've got two models, and the key question as to which model works best is to compare those models versus observations. That's the key element of science.
Okay.
If one model fails to give prediction.
So what's happening here, he's playing a video of PhD Tony talking. So I imagine this is like a clip from one of PhD Tony.
Then it loses by default. You don't get to just win a competition by saying, sure, I can do that. You have to actually do stuff. So let's look at the most basic.
So PhD Tony made a good point that as flat earthers do, they just declare something is the case and that's it. He's saying you actually have to do something. You can't works on the flat earth and it doesn't work on the globe or whatever. You have to actually present evidence, or calculations or observations or something. You got to present some kind of evidence to support that. It's not just a matter of just declaring it. But of course, that's with the flat earth people, that's what passes for evidence for them and proving things, just declaring it because they want it to be true.
Okay, the audio is cut out again. Did you want to start making your presentation? It seems like the audio is cutting in and out a bit there, Ross. You are on.
Model. We've got a prediction.
Mute.
The model, well, we've got a model, we've got a prediction from that model, and we've got observations. The model and the observations match. That is validation of the model. You can't just say, well, maybe there exists.
Was the audio came through eventually? I'm assuming.
I think we got most of it, but yeah, preferably if you can start your introduction not with more commentary on things that Tony has said, but more of an evidence for the flat Earth. I understand that this is part of the debate optics, but I will re-give you your time to start.
I wanted to. No. I mean, it's fine. How much time do I have left?
So I set the clock back, so you still have 9 minutes and 30 seconds if you would like to start the presentation for the flat Earth.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page because a lot of times when I watch these debates back, people who claim to be quote unquote doctors or PhDs.
This is already, as they say, a shit show. Is already just started.
They're actually pastors in disguise. They like to say that you have to have evidence for things, and if
I'm not the only one who sees it that way. Wheezy in the chat says this is an absolutely atrocious start. So yeah, I would agree with that. Oh my gosh, it's already a train wreck.
Don't work, you're supposed to throw the model out. But then when their model ends up not
And he
working,
sounds very
they
low.
don't throw the model out. They keep the model. And so what I'm going to show a whole bunch of evidence of the model not working. And I just wanted to make sure he's not able to say that he's not on record saying that if you have two models and one model makes correct predictions, then that model is by default the correct model. Right? So I'll go ahead and start my presentation. I didn't really want to spend too much time going over the same presentation that I always go. Like I said, I'm undefeated.
I think I've adjusted it so y'all still hear him as loud as me, so hopefully that's the case.
With this presentation, and so, if you guys want to hear me, go through all the evidence and everything again, you can go watch my other debate and I'll go through it. I'll quickly outline all of the things. Excuse me, quick. Sorry, one second. All right, I'm going to quickly outline the things that, are irrefutable at this point. And then, excuse me. Okay, I can share my screen one more time. That's all right?
I think so, but it does seem like you may be coming in a little slow on the internet side.
Well, this is my presentation now, so.
Okay, no worries. Hopefully the internet clears up.
Slow on the internet side?
Okay, now we're getting to his presentation
I
here.
have a lot of stuff wrong on my computer, so
I think so.
Yeah, I'm going to close something down so that way I can come in quicker.
Okay, all right. So.
Well, yeah,
Just given the preamble, I'll just stop the timer. But we are at 8 minutes. I did start the timer, so.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna when I start going, I'll get through it quick. You know what I mean? But I wanted to show those videos so that way, because I'm gonna be referencing those videos pretty much for the rest of the debate. I'm probably just gonna keep referencing those videos because we're gonna be going through the model. He's gonna say that they have these predictions. I'm gonna say that they don't. And then after that, we'll just keep referencing himself, debating himself. I guess at the end of the day. Sorry about that, guys. I had every time I try to prepare stuff, it always messes up. Either way, all right. So, is my screen sharing now?
Yeah, your screen sharing. I started the timer, so let's get to it.
Okay, all right. Well, like I said, everybody's already seen me do this presentation. I'm literally undefeated with this presentation. Nobody's been able to refute a single one of these points. All right. So I'm not on the flat Earth side. All right. I'm on the side of the Earth that follows the laws of physics. Okay. So if you are on the side of the Earth that defies the laws of physics, right, then you are a quote unquote science denier. All right. So tonight the debate is probably going to be between me, somebody who follows the laws of physics, right, and studies what most physicists believe about the Earth, and somebody who is a science denying preacher. I get you have the PhD attached to your name, but out here in these parts, the PhD doesn't really mean anything if you're not in the field doing research and presenting evidence for the topic that we're talking about. Because you could be a PhD in.
Oh my gosh, I guess he's just. I don't know what the word is. What is declaring that he's never lost and that he does science and represents science and Tony doesn't, and PhD doesn't mean anything. Right. So I suppose eventually he will get on with actually presenting something any moment here. So we'll see.
In astronomy, that doesn't mean that you know how to do a surgery or anything like that. So I don't consider to be a doctor or anything like that. I consider to be, let's say a journalist, right? Somebody who studies what people in the field are doing, and then I report on it. All right. So I'm just giving you the findings of what I have. I'm just reporting the findings that I.
Now this is a pretty interesting comment. Your Victoria says Ross is a good example of someone who feel the quantity opinion matters more than the quality of your opinion. Similar to when I was debating Tony and Toby and who was the other guy's name? I don't remember the other guy's name. Something with A, I believe. And apparently they were right because he gives talks on the topic that we were discussing, and I demonstrated he had no idea what he was talking about. So apparently they believe you just because you talk about it, that means you must know. It seems like that's what they project onto science, that they're just making up stuff and they just propped up priests like you just said. So then they try to emulate that, ironically. They try to emulate the bad qualities that they say NASA and scientists have. I guess some kind of way emulating what they say is bad means that they're valid because everybody sees the scientists as valid with it. the thinking is so convoluted, it's amazing.
Have come to from studying the subject. Number one, the Earth is not moving around the sun. All right, so this is not up for debate at this point. All right, so if you are defending the globe, you're defending a globe, right, that is not moving. All right, so we can get into the debate about how people are on the bottom of the globe when it's not moving. I'm open to hearing your evidence and your scientific experiments that prove that something like that is even possible, but I doubt we're going to get it. Number two, the Earth is the center of the cosmos. Now, mind you, this is not even a scientific
Right quick,
point.
Ross, I'm just going to pause your timer. I'm so sorry to interrupt you again, but it does seem like you may have the wrong mic settings selected. It sounds like it's coming through the headphone speaker. I thought it might be okay, but it seems like it's coming back through feedback. So Zoom did update, so I'm sure this is not your fault. Can you go into your mic settings and just make sure that you've selected that microphone in front of your mouth right there?
Is that better at all?
Oh, yeah, much better, I think.
That's better?
Let's keep going.
Okay.
I'll start the timer again. You still have 6 minutes.
It's right. Even with that, even though this happens every time, I'm still 7-0. All right. So either way, the Earth is the center of the cosmos. It's not a scientific point because it's not falsifiable. That's not up for debate. The surface of the Earth is not curved, or the surface that we live on is so big that the curve is virtually undetectable. So I would love to see some evidence for that. Number four, everything is energy. This is also not a scientific point, but I like to throw it in because people always want to know why. Why would they lie? Why would they this? The reason is because all of these findings are different keys that lead to us being able to understand what the world truly is and being able to harness free energy, which you can imagine is going to cost a lot of people billions and trillions of dollars. All right. So can you let me know when I have 2 minutes left?
As I progress in my physics and astronomy degrees, and I start to learn more and more of what goes into science, uh, how we learn the things that we know about the universe, but all of the effort and rigor that goes into the experimentation and testing and validating things is amazing. I'll say again, I said it during the debate that I did when I partnered with Tony. It's amazing that Tony takes his time to do this. I think they could have gotten a better opponent for Tony. But it's amazing. I mean, he looks like, oh my gosh, like what in the world? I mean, it's clear that this is not going to be a debate of evidence versus evidence. And I mean, we know that whole debate. It's something like I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson say that he doesn't debate stuff like this because you could just go off the evidence. You don't debate something that's objectively true. So, and of course, I understand that. I'm sure Tony understands that as well. But there's the entertainment value and the the psychological aspect of just seeing the thinking that goes into the flat Earth and how does this come about, as well as just the fun itself, the fun of debate, as well as I know I've learned things about the universe and the Earth and things to as a response of watching these things or in preparation for debates. I'm working on, there's another debate I'm working on getting scheduled now. And, for the people who need it, coming to the defense of actual science, because I mean, there's some people who are intelligent enough to understand that the Earth is a globe, but just basically ignorant, don't have the information. And so we can make videos and put the information out in a way that they can, because apparently, I mean, we know these people can't read and understand papers. So perhaps these debate things, people learn. People have signaled that they looked at these debates and it helped them to get out of flat Earth. So there's reasons. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see how Tony responds to all of this. Technically, there's not really anything to respond to. He just made some claims about how he never loses, and now he's just making baseless claims about the sun, the cosmos, and the earth, and energy and things. Baseless because he didn't present any evidence. He's just claiming it. So it'd be interesting to see how this responds. And looks like somebody showed up. Welcome. Feel free to chat. I've already put links in the description. Here's the chat. I've already put links in the description of my talk with Ross, my debate that I did with two flat earthers were a part of Alan and Toby. That's what it was. Me and Tony debated Alan and Toby. That link is in the description, and so you can check those out.
All right, I'm gonna run through the evidence really quick. All right, number one, the Earth is not moving. There have been tons of experiments that have done on this. Aries failure, right? To quote one of my favorite guys, McToon, Winston asked McToon one time, "How can you prove that the Earth is not moving around the sun?" He said, "You attempt, right, to test motion, and you get a no result." How many times has that been done since the 1800s? We've done that test probably over 1,000 times at this point. Not one test has come back conclusive that the Earth is moving, let alone moving around the sun. Not one conclusive test. So Aries
I missed it. Let me retry. Let me rewind a little bit.
No result. How many times to test motion, and you get a no result. How many times has that been done since the 1800s? We've done that test probably over 1,000 times at this point. Not one test has come back conclusive that the Earth is moving, let alone moving around the sun. Not one conclusive test. So Aries failure is one. Like I said, I explained this last time. This is the original document. All right, go look it up if you're really that interested. Number two, Mickelson and Morley. Right, a lot of people like to say, "Oh, well, Mickelson and Morley."
Based upon my talk, there's no way he could understand what these papers say, and most likely he didn't even read the papers. To address one point, what the flat earthers often want to do is try to single you out individually. Like they try to question you and keep questioning you until they find something that you can't answer. And they say, "Aha, flat," right? When the understanding of the fact that the Earth is a globe is based upon centuries, if not millennia, of science and understanding, and there's people who are experts on all of these different things. There's people who are experts on uh, uh, the devices that like LIGO is based upon the same principles as the Michelson-Morley interferometer. I was learning from my professor a few weeks ago. So, but they don't want to actually go to the experts honestly. Sometimes they make these fake discussions with experts and they pretend like they're asking questions, but they're trying to pin them on things. It is the deceptive conversation. The reason why they don't go to the experts in these particular things because they don't really want to. They want to find somebody who doesn't know, so they can pretend that that person's personal knowledge is representative of all of science. On the other hand, it's the flat earthers individually who are making these claims that totally contradict all of science. So then it becomes up to them to support these claims. But again, they can't do this. They again try to put it back onto you. So it's an ironic thing. Just like how looks like there's a picture of Einstein coming up. Einstein didn't press upon everybody else to disprove relativity. He presented his understanding in equations, and then evidence was found, like with the solar eclipse, where they was able to see the light refracted around the sun, bent around the sun. So evidence was found for his unique claim because he made the unique claim. So it's up to flat earthers to support their unique claims, but of course they can't do it, so they try to just find something that you can't support. And of course they misunderstand these documents.
It didn't prove the Earth wasn't moving. It proved that there was no ether. All right, well, here's Einstein saying, according to the general theory of relativity, space without ether is unthinkable. Oh, and then they say, well, it's not that ether, it's a different ether. Well, it's not the space ether. All right, be quiet now. All right, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just making shit up. You're defying the laws of physics.
So it says, by the way, I doubt this is a real quote. It might be, but there's no reference, as flat earthers commonly don't reference things. According to the general theory of relativity, ether is unthinkable. For in such space, there not only would be no propagation of light, but also no possibility of existence for standards of space and time measuring measuring rods and clocks, nor therefore any space-time intervals in a physical sense. So that's what that quote says that he has there. I'm not sure if it's a valid quote. I don't put it beyond. I mean, I don't think Ross is intentionally. In my talk with him, and seeing him, I don't think he's intentionally trying to deceive people, but clearly he just accepts stuff without on less than sound grounds, let's say. So he could have just pulled this quote off of a meme, a flat earth meme or something, or a flat earth Discord channel and just propagate it, which is common for flat earthers to do.
I mean, I have this in here because Craig tried to say that the proof of the theory of relativity was the Eddington experiments, and he bet me 20K, right, that Eddington was not a fraud and did not falsify some of his data. I mean, Craig, you owe me $20,000. All right. So then you have the CMB, the cosmic microwave background is proof, or at least, like I said, it's unfalsifiable. So it's the best evidence we have that the Earth is in fact in the middle of the universe. We can go through that if you want, but all other physicists agree. So if you disagree with me that the cosmic microwave,
so he just said all physicists use the CMB as the evidence or agree that the CMB means that Earth is in the. Anyone who's done even rudimentary investigation of that knows that's not true. That's the edge of the observable universe. We don't know what's beyond that, first thing. And second thing, I don't know if the flat earthers are just lying or just ignorant, but now I'm about to say this, unless they could show it's false, anyone who hears this or you show this to them, you know after this they're lying. The way it works is every single point in space, from that point in space, everything else is moving away. In my galaxies and cosmology class, the professor put up a very direct demonstration of this, where you could take different an expanding space and just pick one of those points, and from whichever star for instance, you pick, relative to that star or that galaxy, everything else is moving away, given that everything is expanding at the same relative pace. So the idea that astronomers think that in any way Earth is the center is totally false. So I've sat in the class with an astronomer who's running a pretty advanced program. I mean, she's a very good astronomer, and she clearly points out that every single point in space, from that point in space, everything else is moving away from it, just the same as everywhere else. Well, technically, no point is the center. So they're just getting it completely wrong, unless you can somehow bring to bear more evidence than what the astronomers have already presented. And welcome, Big Blue. Thanks for showing up. And Big Blue says, no matter where you are, you think you're the center if uh, uh, it isn't that hard to understand. Exactly. What I was just saying. So, and again, I heard that directly from an astronomer in my galaxies and cosmology class, and she showed the visual demonstration by picking different points in space around this field of stars or dots, and showing how every point you pick, everywhere else is expanding from that point relatively. So what he's saying is simply wrong. It's just not true. So like I said, I don't think Ross is being intentionally dishonest. I think he's just doing like most flat earthers do, and they just find whatever meme, the latest meme that's out, and they just go along with it. And the person who originated the meme, either they're lying, or they just do like flat earthers do, where they just declare what they want to believe, and then back quickly they just believe it and declare it as being true, and that's it. But like I said, and like Blue said in the chat, astronomers actually say, now this is from learning directly from an astronomer, that every point, relative to that point, everything else is moving away. So technically, you could say there's no center. That's the way astronomers actually say it. So he's wrong. What he's saying is not accurate.
Background shows that the Earth is in the center of the universe. You disagree with Lawrence Krauss. But when you look at the CMB map, you also see, you can read it in your own time. All right.
Let me take a look at that quote
you
really
have the
fast.
Hubble map. You also see.
It says, but when you look at the CMB map, you also see that the structure that is observed is in fact, in a weird way, correlated with around the sun. Is this Copernicus is coming back to haunt us? That's crazy. We're looking out at the whole universe. So I don't see how that gives any service to what he's saying. And again, you can't be certain that these people's quotes are accurate quotes, because I've seen flat earthers mix cut quotes out, or like I don't know if he got this quote himself or got it from a meme. There's no reference. So,
you can read it in your own time. All right. And then like you have the Hubble tension, right? So like you said, if you have two models, one model makes a prediction and the other one fails to make a prediction, by default, the failed prediction has to be thrown out. All right. So the Earth not being the center of the universe, and the Earth being the center of the universe, right? The Ptolemaic and the Copernican system, right? That's what we're modeling against each other. All right. Mathematically and practically, they're the same thing, except for one of them has failed predictions. That would be the Copernican system. All right. So your model has failed predictions. Like I said, we can get into it if you want.
I don't remember him presenting any false predictions, and I can't say I'm. I did take an introductory astronomy class, and we had to learn all this and all the history, but I can't say I necessarily committed all of that to memory. But I haven't seen him present any evidence on what model did what and what failed predictions.
One of the most surprising findings is that the fluctuation in cosmic microwave radiation temperatures at large angular do not match those predicted by the standard Big Bang model. This is the European Space Agency. If you're not disagreeing with me, you're disagreeing with the European Space Agency. You're a science denier. You're a science denier. If you
Right, well, at least he gave a reference for a source. We need to see the context. We know that the flat earthers bring quotes out of context and essentially lie through. You know, they do things that they can twist to their service of their narrative, rather than simply presenting some kind of evidence of observation, which they can't do.
disagree that all evidence shows that the Earth is the center of the universe. All right, so we can go through these quotes if you want later.
Oh, hold
Let's
up,
see.
there's another
Shows that
quote
the
there
Earth is the center
briefly.
of the
If the red shifts or adoptive shift observations as they stand lead to the anomaly of a closed universe, curiously small and dense, and it may be
universe. All right.
as from Hubble in the monthly notices. If I remember right, Hubble's values were a bit low. I should recall this one because I talked about this in the dark matter, dark energy talk I gave. If I remember right, his numbers were a bit low at the time, and thus all of his distance values were a bit low.
All right, so we can go through these quotes if you want later. Let's see, evidence two. The shape of the Earth, right? So if you have a conductive sphere, all right, a conductive sphere will give off a certain magnetic field. It will be a circular magnetic field that gets weaker as you go away. This is not what we observe on the Earth. This is right out of Richard Feynman's textbook. This is the magnetic field on the Earth, right? And this can only be basically, at least in the known laws of physics, this can only exist with perpendicular plates. All right, so the surface that we live on has to be perpendicular. I'm not saying what the shape of the Earth is, I don't know, but the surface that we live on has to be perpendicular because of the magnetic field of the Earth. This is not up for debate. I would love, and I already went over this last time, radio frequencies. We've set radio frequencies at a level that where they should be getting blocked by the time. The shape of the Earth is out of plates. All right,
Given what he's saying there, I don't see why that couldn't
I'm not
work
saying
with
the shape of
the
the Earth is, I
curve,
don't know,
just like
but
the
the
guy's
surface that we
head is
live on
curved.
has to be perpendicular because of the magnetic field of the Earth. This is not up for debate. I would love, and I already went over this last time, radio frequencies. We've set radio frequencies at a level that where they should be getting blocked by the curve, right? You can pretend like the radio frequencies do this, but when you shoot microwaves, they're basically line of sight. So if I take a mirror flash, mirrors do not curve around the ball, right? So if I flash a mirror direct line of sight to you, when you're supposed to be curved, this is proof that there's no curve right there. I'm not saying that there's no curve.
No,
There's no curve.
I can't say I remember it. You know what? I can't say who it was. Guy who's actually pretty bright, who was talking about how diffraction causes microwaves to go farther than they should. I can't remember if he was talking about Ross though, so I might have to look that up for next time if this has been explained to him already and he's bringing it up again. I don't remember who he was talking with, but I'll see if I can find that before I come back next time because I'll be here for a while, Blue. And then I'll come back. I think I'll try to finish his introductory statement, and then I'll come back and do which I know will be PhD Tony's awesome statement. So let's see if we can finish his opening statement.
Right there. Okay, so look, give me some evidence that there is curve, or you're a science denier at this point. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, this is explaining basically what I just told you about them sending those frequencies, and I have a whole list, literally a whole list. I'm not going to share it, but there's a whole list of different times that this experiment has been done where they sent these microwaves too far
30
for there
seconds.
to be a curve in between. How much? 30 seconds?
Yeah, you have 30 seconds left.
All right. So also magnetic declination. Okay. The magnetic declination chart is more proof that the Earth cannot, at least the surface that we live
All
on,
that because that seems to be one of the buzzwords the flat earthers are using now, magnetic declination.
cannot be a sphere. All right. So I'm just going to make this very brief. Like you said, you have two models and one works, and one makes good predictions, the other one doesn't. Which one works? All right. So right here, this is, let's say, essentially the Gleason map. All right. You can go read. The reason why there's a magnetic declination chart is because when sailors would try to sail using this map, the Mercator map, the one we have today, they would crash into land bodies that weren't supposed to be there. They were 200-300 miles off of where they were supposed to be. This is a fact. That's why they came up with the map.
I could believe they don't, Blue. Yeah. Can't really think of anything I've seen the flat earther present that it's either just something they're just making up. Like when Whitsitt just throws around a bunch of, words that's just nonsensically strewn together. I think his intention is to try to confuse people. Or there's people like Ross who, in my experience, talk with him, he literally just doesn't understand, and he just is it stringing together memes? Is it I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out because his whole presentation seems rather disjointed. Is it just me, Blue? Like it seems sort of like he's just throwing a whole bunch of I don't see him really supporting anything. It's just like a rant. I guess that's the word. It just seems like it's just a rant, and and it's like a rant based upon a fervent belief, and it's like because I believe it is true. That's what it strikes me as.
Magnetic declination chart. You know why? Because the map really looks like this. This is what the map really looks like. We don't need magnetic declination when you use this map.
All right, we need to put a bow on the intro. Sorry, Ross.
Okay, sorry.
We are at time.
We have two models, this model and this model. I've already shown you 3 or 4 different predictions. These are not my words, all right? So if you disagree with this, you're a science denier and you're a pastor. Over to you, Pastor Tony.
All right. Well, with that,
I'd like to take issue with what was just done.
Well, just one second.
The nerve of calling PhD Tony a pastor and a science denier. Oh my gosh. Whew. We'll see how Tony gets it.
I have a PhD in geophysics. I have studied the shape of the Earth and its gravitational field for 30 years. And I object to the idea that I am talking outside of my expertise. And I object to the suggestion. I object to the suggestion that I am a liar and that I am scientifically incompetent. While I'm speaking, can you do me the courtesy of maybe being quiet?
We are going to.
Is this the intro, or
we're going to treat this as Tony's intro.
All right,
so go ahead, Tony. We're going to start your 10-minute, and we will do.
I'll let you object.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay. I like how Ryan did that. Tony's like, no, I gotta. It was like, nah, I can't let this nonsense. And Ryan was like, no, I'm not going to stop it and say, no, do a presentation. This is going to be part of your presentation to do what you got to do. So the fact is, Ross did spend a lot of time just, I don't know what he was doing at the start of his presentation. So fair game. All right. So my assessment of Ross's intro before I close up, like I said, I'm just going to do bit by bit. So I'll close up in a minute or two and I'll come back and then I'll do Tony's opening. So, I mean, this is about what we expect, right? Just a bunch of, like a rant, just sort of like a fervent I declare it's true, so it's true. I noticed the flat earthers keep bringing up the Aries failure thing. Uh, I looked into it just a little bit. From what I saw in one of my astronomy textbooks, is you do have to tilt the telescope to get like a direct line of light because of the motion of things. But I just looked into it briefly. Perhaps I could look into it again and get more detail. But I can't really say at this point that anything Ross said seems to suggest any kind of proof of evidence. A bunch of quotes. Only one of them I saw a reference to that could either be fake quotes that he just got from a meme. Like I said, I don't believe he's intentionally trying to deceive anybody. I'm sure he's sincere. It's just he's mistaken. So it could be quotes from some kind of flat earth meme or just something put out of context by somebody. I've talked to him before, so I know he doesn't understand these papers unless he did some kind of massive learning in between now and when I talk to him. So I have no belief that he understands any of these papers he's referencing at all. So and Blue says he's just throwing everything he can think of at the wall, hoping some will stick. That is a common that's a common thing for characters. What I'll do, I'll get back to some studying. This week I'm actually doing semiconductors, which is not my favorite lab, I'll say. The first one I measured the speed of light. The next one, what did I do? I established quantum is a thing. Last week I did some quantum scattering thing where I established relativity. So I have first-hand experience with the speed of light, first-hand experience with that quantum exists, first-hand experience that relativity is a thing. I'm going to make some talks about those. I don't think I'm going to make a talk about the semiconductor thing, but we have a short week today because of the holiday. My professor suggested it, so it's actually a good experiment to get through the week in a short week. Even though we're still going to go tomorrow and do some stuff, but I mean for the week that it has is good, and I'm knocking it totally. But like I say, it's not like my field of interest. So, but I do need to get it done. So I'll go work on that. I also have a linear algebra homework that's due coming up, so I'll work on that. And I want to give a specific time so that y'all know I'm coming. So let's say at 3:30, I'll be back. So that'll give me about an hour to work on my linear algebra, about an hour to work on my physics, and with some breaks in between that. And 3:30 Central Time, which is about 2 hours from now, I'll be back, and then I'll do Tony's intro. So I'll see y'all in about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Thanks for showing up, Blue. Always good to see you. And if anybody else is watching, I say at least one other person is. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't. Share, help me get to 1,000 subscribers by December. I have my talk with Tony, and where me and Tony partnered on the flat earth debate in the description. I have my talk with Ross in the description, and I'll see y'all in about 2 hours and 15 minutes.